Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets, and I'll break them down to bite-sized pieces. Today, we got some concerning news, and these are the types of news stories that are going to keep coming out and coming out and coming out, so I want you to be prepared for what's about to happen. So, first up, critics claim Tesla should sell Bitcoin position. Electric vehicle firms share down 30% since buying. So we'll take a look at what is hype and what is reality, and the numerous news sources that you're going to hear about as far as calling for these huge institutions and corporations to sell their Bitcoin. So we'll take a look at that. On top of, I need to talk to you about cryptotrader.tax and my unbelievable 2,825 what's called missing cost basis detected, which put me through a loop for over 2 weeks. And I don't want you to fall into this as you're scheduling your taxes. And finally, I just want to talk to you real quick about the hodler mentality and what you need to do as far as get yourself mentally prepared for the tough road ahead. So we'll take a look at all those things, but first let's take a look at what's going on in the markets. First of all, let me blow this up so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. And here we are. So today it is March 8th, 9 a.m. Houston, Texas time, still in the new rental property, fixing it up. Should be done by this week, and then off we go. So what do we have today? Well, over the weekend, Sunday saw a heck of a rally, and I think it was because of India came out and said that they will not be banning cryptocurrency digital assets. The Prime Minister, which a lot of people corrected me, it is a she, okay, great, it's a she, but the picture I saw was just a bunch of guys, so whatever. She came out and said, look, we're not going to ban anything, it's not going to be as awful as you might think, and we're going to work together with these central banks to come to a conclusion. So some people have said, well, it's not that much, and it's not what they're going to think. But look, it's a step in the right direction. They didn't just come out and said, hey, we're going to straight ban it, which would really suck for 1.2 billion people in India because they want to actually trade digital assets. So that is a positive. So what do we have? So for the market cap right now, you're looking at almost $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin alone, this 949.52, and we're up to 51,000. So that's pretty great. I mean, we'll take it. It's not the 58,000 all-time high that we had seen, but hey, right around the corner. Ethereum, 1743, a little bit of a bump after that. The Ethereum improvement proposal, 1559, that came into effect, where they're going to pretty much make fees a little bit lower. But again, in the video yesterday, we talked about this. It's going to do well, but it's not going to do that great. They need to do a lot of things with scaling and everything else. I'm hopeful because I own a lot of Ethereum, so that would be great. Now, and one more thing before I go on, just so you know, I am what is called biased to all the different things we talk about here. If I'm talking about a project, it's probably because I own it. And that's just it. I know some people will say, oh, I'm not biased, but whatever. If you're talking about Bitcoin a lot, probably because you got a lot of Bitcoin. If you're talking about Ethereum and Cardano and Chainlink and Theta like me, probably because you got a lot of that. And that's just the truth. So that's just what it is. Anyhow, so going forward, Tether's Tether, nobody really cares. Good for them. Binance Coin, hey, in that 4th spot. You know, Cardano was up there, but of course it slipped down for whatever reason. Nothing but great news, whatever. Polkadot down a little bit in 24 hours, but last hour pretty good. Let's see, here's what I really care about. What's gone up a ton? Well, Uniswap did. If you held for Uniswap all this way, remember it was a 400 token airdrop. Congratulations, because you're up bigly, almost $33. I think Uniswap could do great if they do what PancakeSwap is going to do, which is allow for the Binance Smart Chain. So they can use Ethereum ERC20 tokens to pay for gas. Ethereum to pay for gas, or they can use the Binance chain. If Uniswap switches over from that to Binance chain to a lot of different protocols, I mean, Uniswap will go through the roof. It'll be easily top 5. Let's see if that happens. Chainlink up bigly, another partnership announced because they're doing that every single day, it seems like. Bitcoin Cash up a percentage. Dogecoin, this is funny. So Dogecoin is up 10% in 24 hours. Why? I'm going to tell you why. It's because they have, and I put this in Twitter, Doge is up 10% because of strong fundamentals, a fantastic team working 24/7, and a very detailed roadmap that was just released that goes over the 10-year history and where they're going to go in 10 years. Just kidding. There's no reason why Dogecoin is up. It's just up. Maybe it was a tweet from Elon. I have no idea. It's just up 10%, probably because people are talking about it. remember, just take a look at the fundamentals and what's going on. Has much changed with Dogecoin? No, not really. Just is what it is. All right, Aave, a big Theta is one of the bigger ones, 10%. Remember, they just not formed a partnership, but Sony is one of their validators on top of Google, on top of Gumi or Gummy, however you say it. And they've got a lot of great people lined up. They're not competing with YouTube for bandwidth. They're actually working in conjunction with them because they have Google as a validator. So if you got into Theta early, congratulations, like I talked about. It's great. Again, one of my holds. VeChain up 10% for Rapterra. That's going to be huge. Mike Novogratz's thing. Tezos up 12%. The partnership, I think, was announced. And that's about it. So let's take a look at the at the sentiment over the next hour and see what's going to really pop for all you traders out there. I'm not one of those. Next, I don't know what that is. Curve Dow. And if you're taking a look at this 1 hour projected range, this is the high, this is the low, and the middle part, that's with 90% assurance. That's from Trade the Chain. You can check that out in the description. Ocean Protocol. I remember this one. Wan Chain, one that Ian was always talking about. It's finally getting going. And then Chili's up again, 7%. European type of rebates or cards for sports affiliation, stuff like that. So good for them. All right, that's what's going on in the market. Let's just go into today's top story, huh? All right. So today, these are the types of stories you're going to see a lot as we move forward in progression as far as corporations, institutions buying a ton of Bitcoin. So this one talks about critics claim Tesla should sell Bitcoin position as electric vehicle firms share down 30% since buying. So when you read this, you're looking at going, oh, well, it's down because Bitcoin's down. And that's the only reason. That's not the reason. That's not the only reason. It's part of the reason. But just be aware. So what's going on here? Well, after Tesla announced to the world that there was 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin on its balance sheet, the price of Bitcoin shot up considerably that day. And that was around February 7th, February 8th. Someone checked me in the comments, but it was around that time. On social media forums, critics and even lawyers have called out companies like Tesla for making such decisions. Tesla shares have not fared so well since the purchase, even though the firm did profit nicely from the Bitcoin value increase. So, I'll get to it in a second. And this was just from some random, this is from, who is this? Imagine the positive momentum Tesla would create, somebody tweeted, if they announced the sale of their Bitcoin position and authorized a Tesla stock buyback instead. And the rest is just boring. I almost fell asleep. So here's the thing. I just want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, Tesla stock went down because Bitcoin went down. It's true. That's not the only reason. Part of the reason is there was a shutdown for their Model 3s or Model X's, one of those two. There was a problem with getting parts and different things that they needed for the production line. So that's one. And then there's been some volatility for as they were moving from their California plant to their Texas plant. So that's another thing. And then another part is that, yes, Bitcoin went down and they had a lot of it on there. So when people start to talk about, oh, they should sell their Bitcoin and they should do a buyback or whatever else it is, you have to understand, when people hear that, when people who aren't in our space, they're going to look at this and go, see, I told you Bitcoin was nothing. Bitcoin was bad. And people are going to sell off. And that's kind of what happens. So it's like a reoccurring event. So one person, you have some kind of event over here where Bitcoin sells off for whatever stupid reason. India says again they're going to ban Bitcoin, right? So a lot of investors are like, oh, that's like 1 billion people, we want to get out. And then so then that happens, and then the stock price for MicroStrategy, for maybe even a MassMutual, I don't know, for a Tesla, all these big institutions that have bought Bitcoin starts to tumble, and then people just start to sell off. It's just like a flywheel effect in reverse if you listen to Alex Mashinsky over at Celsius. So you have to be aware this is what's going to happen more and more and more as time goes on. So just be aware of what's happening. So the real question then is, what the heck is going on with the stock price? Well, if we take a look at Tesla stock right now, it was around February 8th, 7th or 8th, when they announced that they were going to be buying Bitcoin. And if you take a look at this, it's not like there was a big push. It was already up all the way back in, and actually I think it was a little bit higher, January 8th. This is for Tesla stock. So if you take a look at what's going on here, well, they've had some pretty great runs. I mean, from all the way back to November 2020. October 29th, it was 410. Now we're shooting up to 816, 880, and at some point we're going to hit 1,000. And then from here, we just see it kind of just tumble down. What happened? Well, is it Bitcoin? Well, no. I mean, it's the things we talked about. But I also want to make mention of this. See this market cap right here? Let me see if I can blow this up. Yeah. See this market cap right here? $573 billion. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of market cap. So how does that compare to, oh, I don't know, other big names in the automobile industry? Well, if you take a look at Tesla, it's 573. The next closest one is Toyota, and they are enormous at 206 billion. Volkswagen, 122. Daimler, Chrysler, Mercedes-Benz, 91. GM, 77. BMW. So probably the closest 5 or 6 really does encompass all of Tesla's market cap. So is this overbought? Is this overvalued? Potentially. And I think a lot of people took a look at this and go, you know what, time to get out. There's only so high we can go. And then what they're going to do is they're going to see, well, as everything tumbles down, and then there's news stories over here where they talk about it's all because of Bitcoin. Then, of course, they are like, oh, well, I'll just blame it on Bitcoin. I'll just keep selling, and then no big deal because they know it's going to go down because of more stories. And that's what I talk about. News moves not only this market, but the traditional market. So if you have some type of integration where you can figure out what the latest and greatest news are, you're going to be a winner. Anyhow, that's what's going on. But lastly, I want to finish up with this. Let's take a look at MicroStrategy real quick, shall we? And this is the last 5 days. And I'm going to pull a Diddy. I like using that one, where he says, when in doubt, zoom out. So we're looking at 5 days. You're like, oh, man, this kind of sucks. What happened here? Well, let's take a look at a month. And let's take a look at, oh, what's this? February 9th. When was MicroStrategy's first purchase of Bitcoin? Well, it was August 11th. Second purchase, September 14th. Third, December 21st. And February 24th. I think there was one more in between there as well. But if we take a look at here for 1 month, let's take a look at 6 months. So all the way back in August, which doesn't even read. Let me go back a year. The first time that it was purchased was right around here when the stock price was 123. MicroStrategy has been trading pretty flat for quite a long time. Let's take a look at 5 years. A little bit higher here, but mostly flat. So if you take a look at this, here's Bitcoin, meteoric rise, and what I'll probably want right up to here, and then it kind of goes down. I think MicroStrategy is a lot more closely correlated to Bitcoin than Tesla is, because MicroStrategy is just a data analytics firm. If you listen to my man Ryan Gorman, the only thing they do really great is scrape data from Facebook, and that's the big thing. But they have been trading pretty sideways, as opposed to, take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at a year. It's just gone up and up and up. And of course, it was overvalued. Here you go. So when these stories come out, I don't want you to be flabbergasted and be like, oh, I got to sell my Bitcoin now because these institutions are going to sell. They will sell. They will sell. But they're not going to all just get together, like at this one big crux moment and go, let's just get out of it all at once. I think it will happen if you pay attention to the 4-year cycles I'm always talking about. But for these types of FUD articles, they're not really FUD. There is a little bit of a reality to it. Just be aware this is what's going on, and not everybody has all the answers. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's finish up with our last 2 pieces. So next up, if you're in America, you know that taxes are coming up. Nobody likes that, but that is what it is. So as April 15th approaches, if you don't want to do all these types of, cost basis analysis and do a spreadsheet and do all these things, just do what I did. The last 2 years, I've used CryptoTrader.tax. They are friends of the show. They have promoted the show in the past, but I bought them last year before I even really had anything. And since I was talking all the time, they're like, hey, you want to be an affiliate? Sure. So there is an affiliate link in the description. You don't have to use it, but if you do, 20% off, just saying. And what we have here is once you put it in, from the time that I got this the first time to when I put it in, got all the information, sent it off to my CPA, it took me 30 minutes. So easy because they have API integrations with everything, except for a couple like Voyager, which sucks. I buy a lot of my crypto on Voyager now, but you just download the spreadsheet, stick it in there. So when we're taking a look at this, when I get to this third part here, review, just so you know, I'm like, why is there it says missing cost basis detected. And then I go on here, I'm like, holy smokes, down here in the bottom right, it says 2,800 items are missing. I was like, what the heck happened? And I was like, what? So I had to contact customer support, and they emailed me back, and they said, hey, genius, you got to click on missing cost basis. They didn't call me genius. I just call myself that, which means I'm an idiot. And here's the missing cost basis I was missing. Not a big deal. And a couple of this was from Uphold, which I didn't put it in. And then this one was for Voyager. I disposed of, I received, what did I do? Oh, I sold USDC for $500, so I can buy some more Voyager. And that's what's going on. So if you ever get to this point, just know there's two parts: the ledger, which is everything that you have, and then your missing cost basis, which usually isn't that much. And you can very easily fill that in. Just watch this video; it shows you how to do it. It's very simple. All right, let me understand the comment section. Oh, before I forget, if you want to win a free tax report, they have an unlimited one right now. It's a $300 value. In the link in the description, you put in your first name and email, they draw the winner, and they just give those away. If you don't want to wait that long, just go, well, I'll take 20% off. There's also a link. So that's it. Anyhow, let's move on to our last piece. This part. Out of all the stories that I talk about, this is the most probably important section I really should delve a lot more into. And it's about the mentality of just holding on. I know everybody will say, you need to hold on forever. And you need to never, ever sell. And I don't think that's true. I think at some point you want to sell because everybody's different, right? Are you in your 40s like me? No. Well, maybe, I don't know. Are you, in your 20s, have 3 kids running around and need a bunch of money? Yeah, maybe. Are you in your 70s or 80s and you're like, you know what, I just need some retirement cash or whatever else it is. Everybody's situation is different. So when it talks about you got to hold on for dear life, I don't think that's really true. You do want to, for me, I want to be an investor. Some people want to be a trader. Some people want to be Gordon Gekko and just, run everything. I really don't want to do that. But to get the mentality is this. In the very beginning, this is how it feels like. It feels like, people like, oh, it's so easy to hold, right? And then when you start to really get into crypto, especially those who are new, it's very tough because you see like, let's say you got into Voyager, right? I know Rob's a big shill for Voyager. I own it, so I'm biased. What are you gonna do? And I did call it at 29 cents. So, I mean, if you would have listened back then, before I move on, I gotta tell you, some people are so ticked off at me because I called Voyager at 29 cents and I said, and I'll link the video. January 7th was my 2021 price prediction. I said, this one's going to $30. And it's the most outrageous one I have because most of them are pretty conservative. I was very wrong on Uniswap. I thought only Uniswap was going to 20. I was wrong about that one. Happily wrong. So I said 29 cents is Voyager. It's going to go to 30. I said it at 79 cents. I said it at $1. I said it at $3. I said it at 5. And I said it when it hits all-time high at 7. Now down to like 628. But I don't know why people are so mad. I mean, if you just would have listened and just done your own research, maybe you would have been a good buy. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying I think it's going to 30. In my mind, that's where I see it. So when you get into investing and you see like Voyager go from 29 cents, then all of a sudden, it 10x's and it's like at $3. Like, holy smokes, I just made a bunch of money on this. It's crazy. It's tough to hold on because without really seeing the future, you're like, I don't know if this is really going to make it. And then when it goes up to like 15x, 20x, or at some point it's going to go 30x, you're like, shoot, I should really start to sell. And that could be true. But how do you know to get from 10x to 15x to 30x, or maybe even 100x for some of you, or maybe even 1,000x for some of you? And it just really comes down to having set your goals and just kind of setting it and forgetting it like a Ronco food dehydrator. You just kind of put it in there and just go, okay, this is what it is. I have my points and I'm going to get out. Or maybe for you, it's I'm never getting out until I'm like 50 and I'll just wait I don't care about this bull run in 2021. If the 4-year cycles are correct, we've been falling pretty close for the last 12 years. I'm going to go for the next bull run or the next bull run after that because of these 4-year cycles. So when you're looking at holding, in the beginning, it's very tough, but just like exercise, getting into shape, eating the right foods, starting a new job, I guess, you kind of get into the swing of things. It's just hard when you are forming habits. But if you listen to studies, it takes between 2 and 4 weeks to develop habits if you maintain and sustain. So this is what it is in the very beginning, but as time goes on, really it's here. People think it's so easy. Then people realize it's hard. But as you do it, again, it's just like going to the gym every day. It's just something you do, and then it just becomes second nature. And then this is just in your mind, like it's in the back of my mind. So these are the things you have to watch out for. And this is the investor's mentality. The trader's mentality is something different. I don't have that. I mean, I trade very little, but this is how I see it. So if you're ever confused or like, I don't know if I can do it, you can do it. You know, if you want to be an investor, I'm not telling you what to invest in, but the mentality itself I can talk to. Just kind of, you know, put the money in or whatever you're investing into, and then just kind of step away and just go, well, I think I know where it's going based on these news pieces, based on my research I've done and everything else. So, and lastly, I want to tie this all together with talking about the 4-year cycles and the investor mentality and everything else. So when I talk about these 4-year cycles, just as a quick refresher, I'm talking about the halving, all-time high, dip, reset, which we've seen over and over again. This was 2012. 2013 was an all-time high, had a big dip in 14, and then 15 we had a big reset. Same thing happened in 2016. We had a halving. Then 2017, all-time high, big dip, and a reset. Then in 2020, it's happening again. We had a halving. We're hitting all-time highs. We're going to hit, I think, 150K for Bitcoin. And then a dip, and then a reset, and the next bull run will start in 2024. 2025 should be another all-time high. So when we do these types of things, and when I talked about these articles and what to watch out for as far as what's going to happen with like all these institutions, just know that these things are going to come pretty fast and heavy, hard and heavy. But you have to understand that people are going to have weak hands. Not you, you've been here for a while, but the new ones that FOMO in, which usually they FOMO in right around when everything goes parabolic. And then you're going to have this over here where everything goes parabolic. And then it's going to be the same thing in 2021. Everything goes parabolic. You have a bunch of people just FOMOing in. And the reason I know that people don't know what the heck they're doing is because of this little survey, which we covered a couple of videos ago. More than 1 in 3 crypto investors know little or nothing about it. Survey. These are the ones that are already here, right? I mean, like I said, not you. You probably know exactly what it is and what it's all about and how it's going to change everything. But if you're going to see these newbies coming in and FOMO paper hands, they're going to see articles like this where, you know, Tesla starts to sell off, or another institution sells off, or maybe another India ban or whatever country, and they're like, oh, that's it, I got to get out. And they're going to pretty much crash the market, and you're just going to see a bunch of people just get out. I know people will say, but Rob, you don't understand, these institutions are here, they're never going to leave. Sure. Michael Saylor can get away with this because he runs the board, right? But Elon Musk can't. And a lot of these corporations that are going to get in, they are beholden to their stockholders. So they will be the ones that are like, you know what, we're going to sell a little bit. And once they start selling, everybody else starts selling. I think we're still going to see these 4-year cycles just repeat and repeat and repeat because people don't get it. And until people really understand what crypto digital assets are, it just won't make sense to them. And that's why I made this website up here, danteachescrypto.com. It's 100% free. They can learn everything about crypto that they ever wanted to, except for NFTs. I haven't gotten there yet, but I mean the basic stuff. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. All I need is it's just your first name and email, nothing else. I don't even spam you. And then tell 2 people so they can understand and they can have stronger hands in the long run. All right, so that's it for today. So if you made it all the way in, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. If you liked the video and you found value, give it a thumbs up. That always helps tremendously. Also consider subscribing. Other things we talk about are time sensitive. And that is it for today. So if you like those, I'll put up 2 more on left and right, let YouTube do its magic. And that is it for today. So thanks so much, I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.